So speaking about art licensing, are there certain products that you really enjoy working on and creating images for in the world of art licensing, certain products?
Sure. I think greeting cards are my favorite, and that harkens back to an experience I had as a child, being an only child and really being primarily because my mother was ill raised by my grandparents, both paternal and maternal.
Hmm.
My grandmother would get cards from her sister out in Troutdale, Oregon. And, I was always fascinated by that, how, my grandma would be having a hard day and she'd get a card from her sister. And suddenly, the light came on and there was hope in her eyes again. And
Mhm.
that made an impression on me from a really early age. And I thought that was, really a marvelous thing to do, just how the power of the written word, just like my fifth grade experience in art,
Mhm.
could
Sure.
change lives. So that's where I started, designing greeting cards. And that's, I have cards with whimsical characters. Like I done a lot of gnomes,
Mm, so cute.
and I sell some in my stores. And then I have a couple of companies that I work with, across the United States. And then my
Mm.
great grandmother, Maggie, she was kind of a self-made woman that made quilts and rugs and did her own wiring. And this was one of her lanterns. And so, anything memories or things that were special in my life, becomes fodder for art.
Mm. And isn't it amazing, speaking with some of the other artists that we work with as well, when they've touched on that and art that they've used from their childhood experiences, it's just amazing how well that translates. Even if the end consumer who buys that greeting card never knows that that was Maggie's lantern or
Yeah.
that it meant something to you, it just sort of speaks to them. And it's just incredible to me that those are the images and the themes that if the artist, really decides to move forward with it, translates so well, regardless of what the end product is. Um, you know,
Yeah.
it's like there's this underlying knowledge there without being spoken that this is important and it means something and it touches me and it ends up touching the person who buys it and it ends up touching the person who they send it to. The power of a greeting card is incredible to me.
It is. It really is. And that brings up a good point. And Maggie's made over 150 quilts in her life on a treadle sewing machine that she brought from Denver, or not Denver, excuse me, from Denmark. And so that was one of my most popular cards, is her treadle sewing machine that I based her experiences on.
Isn't that so funny? If she, is she still alive?
No, she's not. She actually died several years ago, but her memory stays with me, and I have her rugs, her dolls, everything in my home.
It's the way it should be.
Powerful inspiration.
Absolutely. It's so incredible. And, speaking about people from your past, the puzzle that you have licensed to Crown Point Graphics that we're just in love with and is doing so well, it's Abbie and Jack across the USA. Is there an Abbie and a Jack?
Yes, there is an Abbie and a Jack. My granddaughter, Abigail, was the reason that I created Abbie. She's kind of got a mind of her own. She's an aviatrix. She flies around the world, and just kind of, something that I created in my head, building on my own Abbie and her adventures and her zest for life. And Jack, her little sidekick terrier, was based on my mother-in-law's Jack Russell Terrier. Just
Oh
kind of
my,
has a personality of his own.
must have been endearing to you, I'm thinking.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Not all Jack Russell Terriers can be endearing, but it sounds
that's
like
true.
Jack was. Yeah.
That's true.
They can be infamous, but not endearing for sure.
Exactly.
Well, I have a feeling that we haven't seen the last of Abbie and Jack.
No, no.
Good, good. I can look forward to hearing what comes of Abbie and Jack and how we might see that across different products down the road. And if you keep us updated on that, we can keep that updated on our website for people to know so they can know where to go and find them. Adorable characters.
Thank
So
you.
cute.
Absolutely.
Thank
Yes.
you. Yeah. Okay, so it must be hard to consistently be inspired. And I can only imagine if I was an artist having been locked in, right, if you will, for the last year or so here, well, how that might have impacted your inspiration. Maybe it makes some people more creative. I'm not sure. What inspires you? How are you making sure that you're consistently being inspired to be able to create the way you want to?
Again, stories, people from my past that have inspired me. My paternal grandfather was one of the first men into Yellowstone National Park via mechanical means in a machine that he created called a snowplane. It was a tri-ski vehicle with an airplane fuselage and propeller, and he would, quote unquote, fly over the snow. He made over 90 of them in his lifetime.
Oh my goodness.
Fascinating. And he even made them for Eskimo school teachers up in Alaska so they could transport school children to the snowbound regions of the state. And so I feel very, grateful for the examples of my grandparents, especially, and all that they accomplished in their life and their stories and all of the things that they passed down to me. So I've never been one, knock on wood, to be without inspiration. I just have to
Mhm.
think of, all of those adventures, and it just flows, and I'm really grateful for that.
Isn't that amazing? And I'm sure you're probably trying to give those sort of memories, pass all of those along to, your daughter and have her have experiences to build upon down the road too.
Yes,
That's a big task.
it is. It
Like,
is, but one that I very much enjoy.
right.
The Abbie and Jack puzzle came about too because, I'm fascinated with travel and the different things, that Jack could do as the adventurous Jack Russell Terrier and the different things that he could see. So it was very fun to do.
That's exciting. So cute. So cute.
Thank
Wish you could
you.
put all that on the back of the box of the puzzle, right? Or on
Yeah,